Trump's sanctions have created a new global risk. They remind the world of the uncertainty around a financial system controlled by the United States. And the US dollar is at the center of the system. It is the default currency for global trade. Most countries depend on the dollar, and now China wants to change that. Beijing is making quiet moves. It wants to push the Chinese currency, the yuan, into the global spotlight. And for this, Beijing has started work on two fronts. The first one is currency swaps. China is talking to Japan and South Korea. It is pitching a currency swap agreement with them. The idea is quite simple: promote the use of the yuan in regional trade. And what is a currency swap? It's basically a deal between central banks. They agree to exchange their currencies with each other, and this helps countries borrow in their own currency. They can avoid using the dollar altogether. China has such deals with many countries, but this one would be different, because Japan and South Korea are strong US allies. They have a close trade and defense relationship with Washington. But they have been hit by American tariffs too. And that has given China an opening. Beijing sees this as a rare opportunity, a chance to move closer to two key American allies in the region, Japan and South Korea. China is pitching the yuan as a more stable option, a currency that is less affected by politics. You see, Trump's trade war has weakened the dollar. It has dropped in value. That helps China make a case for the yuan, and that is the first step in Beijing's plan, using currency swaps to expand its reach. That's the first part. The second front is debt. China is offering cheaper loans in the yuan. It is offering refinancing to existing creditors, so they can convert their debt from American dollars to the Chinese yuan. And how does it help? Well, China's interest rates are lower, so borrowing in the yuan means lower repayment, lower interest rates, so lower EMIs, basically. Several countries have already taken this offer. Ethiopia is among them. Ethiopia had a $5.3 billion loan with China. They have converted this debt into yuan. Similarly, Kenya has also converted a loan they had borrowed from China for a railway project. By switching from the US dollar to the Chinese yuan, Kenya has saved $215 million in repayment. Meanwhile, some countries have started borrowing directly in the yuan, like Hungary and Kazakhstan. They recently sold bonds in the Chinese currency. Sri Lanka has borrowed in the yuan for a highway project. The loan was for $500 million US. But the debt is denominated in the yuan. Now, so far this year, governments and institutions have issued loans worth 68 billion yuan, which is about $9.5 billion US. This amount has doubled from last year. Every deal like this one means less dependence on the dollar and a stronger role for the yuan. Same for global trade. The yuan's role is rising there too in global trade. It accounts for 8.5% of all transactions now. This makes it the fifth most traded currency in the world, right behind the British pound. The share of the pound is around 10%, so China is closing in. But does that make it a serious challenger to the greenback? Well, as of today, they're far from it. The dollar still dominates global trade. An overwhelming majority of all transactions still happen in the US dollar, so the yuan is not an immediate threat. But it is making strides, and China is playing the long game as always. In June, the governor of China's central bank gave a statement. He made Beijing's intentions quite clear. He said, and I quote, "The world is moving towards a multipolar currency system." He said the world relies too much on the dollar, and he made a prediction that several strong currencies will check and balance each other. Of course, none of this spells good news for Donald Trump.